Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is Tucker, also known as Hagrid, joined by Jackus and Janet Yellen, our new analyst here at BB. Guys, we got a lot for you today. We might have a special guest coming on the show. We'll let you know. Actually, he'll just pop on, so you'll see as we see it. But either way, we're gonna put on a good show for you guys. Again, Tommy, Max are out of commission for today. They're dealing with some holiday things and just resting up a little bit. Max has the new baby, so he's been a busy man. So we're gonna take over for today. But anyways, look at Bitcoin, man. New yearly highs yet again. I don't even know what to make of this pattern anymore, guys. I mean, it's gotta go sooner or later. We'll see. I mean, I'm expecting this to happen pretty soon if it's going to. If not, we could see some stops run below. But anyways, we did see some Ether outperformance. Actually, what am I doing? I don't know. Why am I popping up? Guys? Need you to hit the like button. Need you to hit the sub button. You guys know the traditional like show. Oh, we are joined by our two friends, Wabi and Joshua Drake. What's up, boys? How we doing?
Morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Yes,
very good.
Good to have you guys here. I was just giving the morning like show. It's got to happen. Unfortunately, as it is, it's got to happen. So.
Wait. I need Wabi to speak. I don't believe he's actually awake. Isn't it just his AI?
No. I'm awake, brother. I'm wide awake, man. I'm wide awake.
Yeah, this is pre-recorded file. I don't believe you. I wanted to see the cam, man.
Hey. I've been a part of these live streams before, brother. So apparently, like, I'm having mic issues on my Mac and some camera quality stuff. So I'm not sure, like, if I was able to join. So I mean, I joined at the very least via my phone. So yeah.
No, you're good. You sound good right now.
Yeah. I'm using my iPhone, but yeah, apparently, like, my mic, like the mic inside of my Mac has issues. So yeah, I didn't want to ruin like the quality of the stream or anything like that.
It cuts out.
I was like,
immediately rugs.
Yeah.
No. I had gotten a call. I had gotten a call like just now.
Okay.
Yeah. So apologies for that, guys.
Yeah.
It was his alarm to wake him up.
Yeah. Good one.
At what, 11 Eastern? Oh my God.
Hey, Hagrid. I'll have you know, dude. I am an early riser. Okay, all right.
Are you?
I wake up at 9 after a 2-hour nap, and then I go over to Waffle House and I have the Hagrid special.
That's a good way to start the morning. That is a great way.
Wabi, if you were to say I'm an early investor, I would believe you. But early riser, I don't know.
I have evidence to the contrary, Wabi.
Right. I think what Wabi meant with early riser is that he doesn't go to sleep, right? So that he's awake early.
I don't go to sleep, dude. I take naps, man. They're so fast that I'm fast asleep.
Guys, what do we think's going on here?
I thought only old people took naps,
man.
Well, Josh, how much time do you have for us today? Because we usually run the market checks for like 1 hour 30, 2 hours.
I've definitely got an hour, no problem. So I'm good till about 12 p.m. Eastern. If we run a little late, that's no problem. I'm literally just in Orlando packing pretty much today. So
you willing to share the screen with us?
Yeah, let me pull up some stuff then in a second. I just need a couple moments.
Yeah.
All right.
because I do a little bit of different trading than traditional people, which is all good. But I love TA and all. I just use something known as signals. I do a lot of liquidation trades.
I mean, you can even share like favorite articles or whatever you want to share with us. Like, you do not need to share TA or anything. It's it's a free space. Tucker is gonna run the voodoo lines in the meantime. I call them Tucker-Nachi's lines.
Oh, you want those, man. No, you got to go over to Soul for that.
Oh,
you got to go over to Soul for those, Jackus. Where are they? Boom, boom. Let's see. hang on. Let's make it look better. Let's drop it down. Yeah, here we go. Here
look at it.
Boys. Look at the respect, Jackus. Look at the respect.
Is that Solana?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the post of the YouTube link there.
Oh, you're right. I gotta put it on Twitter. I put it on Discord.
Nobody knows we're out here right now.
Oh, you're right.
He's learning. He's got this.
No, I got it. Yeah, usually I do it before the show starts, but
he got excited when he heard Josh.
Why not do it live with the chat, you know?
Yeah, that's real.
The chat is going crazy about orange juice, man.
You know who that is, right, Jackus?
Is that alter ego account of Bobby?
No, it's Mr. Spread.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Orange juice, man. So, first off, man, Hagrid hasn't had his morning coffee, so that's why the live stream hasn't been tweeted out from the BB account, man. Something's going on here.
I'm gonna make a coffee myself.
Hey, no, it's coming. It's there. Go engage, Wabi. Go engage. It's up.
But look, man. So are you telling me, Jackus, that amidst a lack of concentration, orange juice has freshly squeezed to new highs? Because I'll tell you what, man. I saw Bitcoin almost hit 39K. Last night, and it was quite the squeeze, man. If you take a look at the 15-minute or the hourly or even the 4-hour, man, the 4-hour on Bitcoin has looked absolutely phenomenal since we put in that low on September 11th.
Man,
yeah.
I do not even know what the current orange juice market looks like. I guess you hear
oh no, Jackus.
Bro's
Jackus. You're roboting hard.
Malfunctioning. I knew Jaxus wasn't real, dude. No way someone's that smart.
He's an AI, man.
No way, dude.
Yeah. Jackus the robot.
1 sec.
I almost got a couple things ready to roll.
Nice.
You guys hear me better now?
A little bit.
Is it better? Is it better now? Good?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was walking around the house, big house. So I was far away from my office, making the coffee, right? And I suppose the signal wasn't that good. I imagine so. It's like CC rating Jake, isn't it? Check AI. Yeah, I was just saying that if you guys hear background noises, then I apologize because I'm making the coffee. I'm not at the Okay. Give me a few seconds, guys. I'll make the coffee and I'll be here. If you hear background noises, just mute me, right?
Perfect.
I'm just gonna mute him. Josh, you wanna share? You wanna go ahead?
I got you right here.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Well, nice to meet you all. Some of you might know me from the Twitter Spaces. Let's go. Boom. Share entire screen. Just don't look at my history if that's cool. Yeah. So there's a few things I'm looking at today. This in front of me, guys, might give a few people might scare a few people. Looks like Picasso's painting a picture. It's not as bad as this one, which we'll get to in just a second, though. But ultimately, what we're looking at here is going to be just simply liquidation levels. So if you look at like really close, you can see little purple lines and little yellow lines. These are just your regular candlesticks. Okay, the purple lines for the chat listening in, to make this super basic, are kind of like they're support and resistance levels, but they're going to be weaker support and resistance levels. So prices do like to attract to these, and when prices get around them, you may see a bump. But when you see these yellow ones right here, these are market imbalances, and this is generally where there's a massive amount of liquidations starting to stack up. And if you see, prices reach this range, it's going to be almost a max pain for whether it is it would be a max pain for that market here. So, right now we do see a decent amount of long positions starting to stack up. And if prices were to go down to this 34,800, that would wipe out a lot of long positions on the market pretty well. However, if you were to zoom out and go on this on the monthly or the weekly, et cetera, and look throughout time, these start to act as just major support levels. And when you break through them and change that character and you start moving into an uptrend, we may not see this price again for quite some time. As long as I've used this thing, though, and I'll say I've used this for multiple years, prices always come back to these levels. It's just like the liquidation zones. It's just like you're looking at your liquidity cycles. Prices do like to attract to these. So this is a number and a level that I definitely want to pay attention to. It's around that 35K level. But right now we are in this uptrend. So going to the Picasso chart here, I'm going to explain this very simply. So don't get scared. Don't run away. This is a minute chart. And there's certain people out there. I'm just using this. This is a free live stream, so I don't have to pay for the $1,200 service. But don't pay attention to all these bubbles. Okay. We don't need to care about this. You have your order book on the side. All we need to care about is what's happening on the left-hand side here and the top. This is called Kingfisher, and this is called High Block here on the left. High Block is literally a $1,200 service. I love it, but I don't trade enough to care to do so because I have so much going on in my life right now. So, as you can see, that 36,000 right above that, there's a mass amount of liquidation starting to stack up above us around that 36,500 range. But, we are seeing a lot of people shorting the market. You can see we got some all the way above us about the 45K range, about the 43K range, and even now $39,000. So as long as we see liquidations really stacking up, you will get that short squeeze to the upside. And what I want to point out here is when you see these like massive empty zones, so to speak, for the chat, all you can kind of think of is like, that's just like an elevator. When you break this price action here at like 41,000 and we were to break this 42K level, it's almost a straight shot up to 44K. You get quick, really, really quick movements. So same thing if we were to come down to 36K. If we were to break through that, you get a shot back down to about 34,900. And what is 34,900? That is going to be this level again, this massive, massive resistance area. So, this is something I would use on the daily if I'm trading. The long-term macro outlook here for December is just bullish in my opinion. If you guys use CryptoQuants, I pulled up CryptoQuant Insights here. This is another one of my favorite sites here. A lot of really smart traders, also a lot of really dumb traders. That's, what happens being a free platform. But ultimately, this was a pretty good post I saw today. Just going over the resistance zone that we just broke out for Bitcoin. And I'm sure everybody in this space has been watching this massive technical break. But, ultimately we have finally broken out of this resistance above the 32,000 levels. So while some people are watching that 38K, which we're trying to battle right now today, it does look like we're starting to tap out of it. We do have very bullish technicals moving to the upside. And what I want to show people is going to be the NUPL chart. I don't know if you guys covered this a lot. Let me highlight it right there. But this can be a good chart to see resistance and support. If you guys don't know what the net unrealized profit to loss is, I'll do a little quick overview here. But this indicator is derived from market value and realized value. And I'll explain what that means. So the current price of Bitcoin for market value, what is the market value? That is the current price of Bitcoin multiplied by the number of coins in circulation. A lot of you guys know this. This is when you go on CoinMarketCap and you see the price of a token. That is going to be your market value. So $38,454, right? Times the amount of tokens in circulating supply will give you your market cap. So when you're looking at your net, that's your market value. Pretty simple. This is like the market cap in traditional markets. Realized value, however, though, guys, is rather than taking the current price of Bitcoin, so the one that's on CoinMarketCap, realized value takes the price of each Bitcoin when it was moved, last moved. For example, the last time it was sent from one wallet to another wallet. It then adds up all of those individual prices and takes an average of them, and it then multiplies that average price by the total number of coins in circulation. So similar to market cap, but a little bit different for sure. And what this is going to estimate is the total amount of paper profits or losses in a Bitcoin held by investors. And so, traditionally, from an on-chain perspective, I like to follow a lot of liquidations and on-chain metrics. There's a million different ways from sideways that you can look at this as well. But we are at a very, very, very bullish point. So a past review coming from this guy right here, you can see right here, resistance breaks. So here's the trend line that we've been in. We broke out of that. And ultimately, the NUPL chart can be a good chart to see resistance and support. A past review of the chart shows that this chart has acted as resistance and support for Bitcoin many times. And of course, guys, we're looking at a multi-year time frame. So, from the overall market perspective, just moving into December, I'm quite bullish. There's really nothing that I can see pushing us down in December. I think the only thing that will push us hard to the downside would be the turn down or the denial of a spot ETF on January 10th, because that would project us then to March. However, if the speculation keeps driving these markets, which is why these markets are moving, it was started off speculation from the BlackRock ETF. Again, to that Cointelegraph article, it's like that's day one, that's ground zero. We could continuously get pushed to the upside here, and continuously see short squeezes just move us further and further to the upside. So those are kind of what I'm watching. If you guys have any question on that, it's kind of just the focus point on this market for this month. Other than that, I'm just making trades.
I like the book map. I've seen the book map before. I've played around with that. And high block too. Those are definitely nice tools.
Josh, but before we continue, man, given that you've only been on our Twitter Spaces, feel free to give a quick intro on yourself, man, to our audience as they pour in.
Did you stop talking, or what happened there? It went silent for a second.
Oh no, he's good. I can hear him. Go ahead.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm a random guy. I've been in crypto for about 2 weeks, and they found me on some trash Twitters.
Hold on. You mean back pages, right? You found you on back pages.
Yeah. They hired me on Craigslist this morning for free. It's been a good time. But no, yeah. So I've been in crypto for a few years, guys. Quite a good amount of time at this point. I think we're going on 6 or something at this point, which feels like 2 decades. But my name is Joshua Jake. I am the host now for Discover Crypto. If you guys don't know what that is, you may have heard of BitBoy. I'm his replacement, making that channel way better in every single way, shape, and form. But I come from TikTok. I have a pretty large audience over there. Built up over about 500,000 followers just doing just crypto completely, Web3 news, geopolitics. And over the last few years at this point, I've gotten the opportunity to consult and advise for 50 plus projects. I've traveled the United States. This next year, I'll be Dubai, all over the world, essentially, doing a lot of panels and educational panels with people such as hedge fund managers, CEOs. Probably one of the ones you'd be most familiar with would be like Kathy Wood. I got to open up with her just last year, so that was really cool. Other than that, I'm focusing on Web3 policies. So I'm a part of multiple blockchain committees in the United States. So one of them is the FBBA. We're responsible for passing the anti-CBDC bill in the state of Florida. So we work directly with DeSantis' team to help get that legislation pushed through. And then now we're leveling up that perspective, moving into Capitol Hill earlier next year. And we'll be working with a platform called hopefully BIP, which is also a ton of congressmen, nonpartisan committees, just pushing proper legislation for retail holders. And our whole perspective and focus is on making sure we protect the retail, which is essentially the 99% from the legislation that the 1% and all these big tech companies like Coinbase and et cetera want to pass that only benefit themselves, and people don't realize it. So just trying to protect the people from that front. That's kind of a broad overview, but again, yeah, my name's Joshua Jake, been in the space for quite some time, and just love crypto.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. What an intro. Man, I have few questions. Few notes, few questions for what you were discussing. Hope I didn't forget them. But I loved the high block levels that you had there, right? because that just completely aligns with my thesis. I'm gonna show you later on a chart, and I was saying that we probably get a push through, and I had marked. You will see it. I haven't changed anything. The guys can confirm from the call, and I have two levels: 41,500, and then I have 45,000. Right, and those are exactly the two levels of. And I love that void in between. Right, that's there. Two voids above that, we should send the chart, the price higher. But like, I do not look at these, right? I do not look at the liquidations. I look at the chart and I see the same thing, and I love that, right? Because that's how it should be. But just confirming that from the liquidation levels is awesome too. And about the what is it? The NUPL, right? Net unrealized profit loss. Do I say it right?
Yep.
I would love to. I would love to see the comparison with the 15-16 cycle. Actually,
So
yeah,
so it's right here for you if you want to look at it. 15.
Yeah.
You said 15-16 or 17-18 cycle.
Well, 16-17 sort of like.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're like mid. You can see where we're at right now.
I see,
We're
I
not
see, I
even
see,
in
I
belief
see.
or denial yet. Which,
Now, is Nupal putting in lower highs? You know what I'm saying? Is there, if you drew a trend line from the far left, is it low key putting in lower highs?
This one is a kind of a double top. It hit the same exact points from 17 to 2021. I mean, plus or minus a few variables. But of course, I think that would diminish over time. But either way, I mean, even last cycle, if you're looking at I'm still expecting it, because I mean, there's way less volume in this cycle, and way less supply, which is so far. But exactly. So, and the reason why prices are moving up right now is there's so little supply on exchanges that it's allowing us to push further and further up, because we don't need that much volume to obviously push prices higher right now. So I still expect it to run into this belief denial area, and in fact, I actually do think that the NUPL will, I think this will actually break both previous cycles and move into the euphoria greed area here, just because of the spot Bitcoin ETF. I really think that this next market is going to be like just highly manipulated. Institutions are going to take advantage of retailers so freaking hard. And while you might get, I think we might get up to like 60, 70K. Maybe we break past that, but as soon as that ETF might fall, you're going to get a bit of a pullback. But again, it just, the entire narrative of this market cycle is all hype and speculation off a financial product that is going to crush our industry, and goes completely against all ethos, as we spoke about yesterday on Twitter. So, I think anything's possible with the euphoria and greed aspect that will come into this.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Oh no, I would just want to add in there, like, I wanted to kind of add some clarity to the Bitcoin spot. I feel like it's a conversation that people continue to talk about almost 4 years, 5 years. This has been a thing in the making for a long time, and it seems like we always get the same conversation around. This is the reason why. I tend to see liquidity flow just in at certain times, regardless of ETF, regardless of anything out there that I've seen as far as news. And I've always been a firm believer that news follows price, and price news becomes a reason for price for the normie retail investor, and not necessarily for the people that follow the train to follow liquidity. I do think it's positive for crypto or Bitcoin in general to see good liquidity flows from places like BlackRock and Fidelity and these other ones that are applying, and I do think that they will get the application through. But I don't necessarily subscribe to, at least me, that is the reasoning for price movement. I think that price was moving before a lot of this even came to fruition, at the lows, right, at 15K and so on and so forth. It just became another drive. It's just like the AI narrative with NVIDIA, right? And I think that's starting to wear on NVIDIA a little bit, because their competitors are eating at their market share, when you look at their GPUs and so on and so forth. But yeah, I do definitely agree with the scenario that retail is going to get taken to the cleaners, and I don't think that the market itself doesn't necessarily see a, a scenario in which it's very euphoric like 2021. I think like people look at 2021, they look at the money injection, and they're like, "Oh, it's because the money injection. You'll never see that kind of price action movement again." But in reality, every single market for Bitcoin overall has been um, the same way, right? It's been the same exponentials. It's been the same upside, so on and so forth, regardless of liquidity injection or not.
Will, but we haven't really pumped the way we have this cycle pre-halving.
You never pump after or pre having, no cycle is ever the same, right? And
No,
every
yeah, yeah,
cycle is
yeah,
going
yeah.
to pump more than the previous cycle. That's how liquidity flows. Otherwise, there's no
No,
interest.
you're saying every cycle is going to pump more than the previous cycle?
So what I mean by that is you're going to see higher highs than the previous cycle. Like expectation is Bitcoin will go above 60K, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
69K.
yeah, yeah. Just
And
not
and
on
that
a percentage basis.
Yes, correct. You're going to see diminishing percentages, diminishing X's, but at the same time, you're always going to exceed the previous high, and it's gonna dwarf the previous market typically.
Well, Jackus actually pushes back on that theory.
Yeah,
I think it'll diminish over time.
He pushes back. Jackus pushes back because he's been looking at the copper Bitcoin ratio. Okay, he likes to call that intra-market
Hold on, who's
analysis.
talking? Because I can't hear them.
it's Bobby.
It's Wobbly,
Why can I
brother.
not hear Wobby? What is going on?
Try to reconnect, Will. Or maybe that's just
Wait,
YouTube getting
let me drop you
scared of some
down.
drama.
I'll drop you down and pull you back up, Will.
Yeah.
So what's wild, man, is that earlier.
Talk, Wobby?
What's up? Check.
Oh,
Mic
no.
check. Mic check.
All right, I'll
Will,
come
you're
back.
gonna have to come back. Why is this like a Twitter space right now? You're gonna have to come
I don't
back.
know, man. I hope to God
Yeah.
it doesn't end up like that. But
Yeah, just leave and come back real quick.
But last night I was I commented under one of Jackus's posts, and I'm like, we're paying attention now to the Bitcoin copper ratio. And one of our Discord members is like, "Oh, can you please discuss the Bitcoin and copper ratio?" And I think it was the Nasdaq and copper ratio. So, Jack is looking forward to the intra market analysis.
Yeah, so I wasn't actually paying, just to clarify, I wasn't actually paying any attention to I'm paying attention to Nasdaq and copper, but wasn't making conclusions out of those two in that particular time or anything. It's just while be making fun of it, right? Because I look at all these charts and trying to make the world context of where macro assets are heading. Hey, what's going on here? We are we're popping out of people.
Oh, I think Josh just fell off for some reason. There's Will back.
Okay, mic test.
You're good, bro.
No, I'm good, but I mean Wabi and Will. And Josh, maybe. Josh? Yeah, speak.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know what just happened there. My entire Google just closed. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
What?
No, you're good. You're good.
Wait, are you saying you're not using Brave Explorer?
Oh, dude, Brave eats my PC away, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I have an older. I mean, my PC is like 5 years old. It's only got 2060 and like 8 RAM. So the CPU and then the CPU is kind of mid too. So like whenever Brave's on, dude, that thing sounds like like an Xbox 360 with the red ring of death. You know, just
Man, the Xbox 360, brother. Gears of War 2, man.
Running that thing through, man.
Bro, man, dude, gaming is not the same as it was after after Gears of War 2, man. Like all we had after that as far as like community-based gaming was Fortnite, but I feel like with crypto gaming, I think there's going to be one game that is going to become like the next kind of big Fortnite, especially when you factor in play to earn. But Jackus, man, I saw you had I'm not sure if it was you, Jackus, or Tucker, one of you guys had Luna Classic in the same list as Tia. How dare you?
That was not me. That was I don't even have it
right.
on my.
No,
Wait, it had to be Will, man. It had to be Will. It had to
How
be.
How dare you, man?
What?
Celestia is massively ripping face right now, brother. I'm like, there's no way.
Hey, Luna ripped
Speaking
face,
of,
to be fair,
speaking
too.
of,
You know,
Terra Classic USD outperform everything.
Wait, boys, guys, come on now. We're
Is this Tia?
Banging the drum. No, this is Clean Spark, bro.
Oh, come on, Tucker. You
Yo,
need to
bro. They missed EPS. They nuked it like 8%, and then they just
That's based.
annihilated.
And that's based, man, because when you have Capo put out a Doom, Capo put out a Doom tweet, and then you have Insilico coping on the timeline, dude, you know we're gonna rip, man. You know we're gonna rip.
No way he put out another bear tweet.
He did. He put it out like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
He put it out like a couple of days ago, and he's like, the beginning of the end.
Bro, that's why I say, guys, that's why I say that the real capitulation is above 48K, right? That's really the place where lots of bears will start to get proven wrong like horribly. And the same for equities is above new all-time highs. You really need to break on BTC that March 2022 high. And by the way, with this monthly close, it's just over, right? Like, where's the resistance on the monthly? It's not until 60K in my opinion. So I still stand by my hard time frame thesis that we go above 48 to 60K. And then we'll see, if we distribute there all the way until recession, or if we go above new all-time highs until then. I'm open to like both cases. But yeah, I do not see anything. I see levels that can hold us down for a week or two, maybe for a little longer, who knows. But generally speaking, there is no real resistance around this area. We just had like so many significant reclaims. So yeah, and good luck fading that with Ether, going to about to break the 550 days plus long ascending triangle to the upside, man. Like if you feel that BTC is not gonna follow the upside with it, then well, I
don't worry. They'll once it's at 60K Bitcoin, they're gonna be like, well, hey guys, I already hedged myself. I bought at 60K. So you guys just didn't see that tweet.
Hedge tweets.
No, it's gonna be I shorted here and I also bought some spot to hedge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what it's gonna be.
Dude, it's so crazy. I have there's so many influencers. 40K is the magic number, guys. Like 40K is like when all the little cockroach influencers come out that are just completely naive and they just think they know all their shit. They're gonna come out and pump every single token. They're like, this is the next winner.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to just run them through the gravel. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I think above that level is really when the mania begins. But it's a level that breaks the structure, right? But usually after the break of structure, you get a pullback. So if you think of the, on BTC, if you're gonna look back onto January 2022, right? That move down broken the structure on the weekly on January 2022. But what you got after, you got 3 months or so of market upside before another sell-off. So I see the same thing with breaking above 48K. That's where lots of people will flip bullish. That's psychological level, and we are not there yet. So many people still looking for that pullback, at least to like please give me pullback to 33K. I want to get in, please. And it's the market will want to force you to buy back higher and then sell the initial support you initially wanted to buy. And so I think that 48K really breaks the hard time frame spirit, the structure too. And then, I still think we're gonna get some sort of distribution above. I'm not talking like a cycle distribution. I'm talking distribution for like the next hard time frame pullback. I think we're gonna get the pullback there, and then head to I think the lowest it goes is really like 31 at that point. And that would be even like during the recession. And I do not think it goes lower than that. We get, and I always say, I cannot predict that right now. This is my like current thesis, but I always say we need to adapt depending on how and when we get to those levels, because that matters, right? It matters if you go to certain level in a straight line up, or if you're gonna go and create pullbacks. If you're gonna spend some time somewhere. Like that's why you need to compare the cycles of 2016, 17, and for example 2020, because in 16, 17 you had a very healthy bull market with lots of pullbacks, lots of time spent. If you're gonna look at 2020, it was just straight up, right? And that's why we got what we got after.
We're playing with the bars patterns again, boys. We're gonna massage a little bit.
We are also about to hit new yearly highs in just a few minutes.
I mean, are you kidding me? Look at this thing, man. Are you kidding me? We're literally right here. You're literally there. Potentially.
Yeah, I could see a follow-up like that too here. Sort of.
I just tweeted out, if Bitcoin breaks 40K today, you really need to unfollow the crybaby bears ASAP. They fucked you.
Facts though. That's facts.
It's crazy just watching that so much. Like there's so many people out there that have just been screaming for it's gonna fall, it's gonna fall, it's gonna fall, it's gonna fall.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. And then you just think about it. It's quite simple. Like that's where I'm like, back to this, the thesis around the spot ETF. It's like I agree with a lot that Janet Yellen was saying earlier today. It's definitely not the complete reason why markets are moving here, but I do think it's definitely over speculative at this point. There's a lot of speculation on top of the reason why markets are moving. And so, it's just like, what other outlook do you have in December that would be detrimental to these markets? Nothing's going to break. No major business decisions are going to be created. This is your slower time. You get that Sanders rally traditionally almost every single year moving up into December. It's like, I don't know. We're looking at that 40K zone. So going to Jax's point, what is your target there, brother? You said 46, 47, because once you break 40K, it's straight up a shot to, it's pretty much instant shot up to 41.5, which is a very, very small resistance, but there is resistance there. And then from there, it's a 45K level.
42 and then 46. Always
By the way,
keep it even.
Josh, whenever you want to steal the chart back, go for it. Whenever you want to show us something, go for it.
I like this spot first. I like this spot. There's a nice 2-week FVG right here. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty much clear up to like this shoulder, probably, if you can get above this. You need to see the God candle like now. Like, I don't think you can diddle around here anymore, or else all these stops are probably getting run if you can't just do that, right? Like if you keep doing this, you're probably gonna wipe and then go. But
by the way, Tucker, I need to remind you something.
What's that?
I need to remind you that you need to remind the people about the like button.
What are we at? I don't even know where we're at. Let me check. But anyways, guys, I don't know where we're at on likes, but we need to hit the like button. Makes the YouTube algo like us. That's all there is to it.
Go ahead and smash the like button. Today for the Bitcoin price. As you can see on the hourly chart, we are now pressing up against 39,000. If we keep on following the ascending triangle going on right now, we can see prices of upwards to 45K exactly as predicted. Tucker, what is going on for the Bitcoin price?
Hold on, was that Garrett
exactly
Holloway?
As predicted, guys? Exactly as predicted.
Was that Garrett Holloway?
No, come on, Will. Come on. That's Carl and that's MM, the OG boys. Carl.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh man, new highs. They told me it's a SFP and we should be shorting, guys. And instead we hitting new highs. What's going on?
What's going on? Wait,
we're gonna have like honestly, I'm gonna say it now. I think the retracement comes when the denial comes on January 10th. I don't expect the ETFs to pass. I think that's when we get the significant pullback. I don't know if that take us up, and that honestly, that might be what breaks us back down to 34.8. I don't know if it will, because it really depends on we could be at
Josh,
47K.
you're one of the only people that's entertaining that, and I applaud you for it, because the biggest thing, like the biggest, I guess, shot in the foot that can happen is a premature approval, in my opinion. And I think that, like, with March actually being the one that approves, I think that sets us up where it's like, okay, ETF approval. A few weeks before the halving, shortly after the ETF, we got that small pullback just before the halving. Everyone's in denial, and then right after the halving, we continue to pump until the summertime.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm entertaining that a little bit more, because I just think that, like, a January approval, 3 months out from the halving, it's kind of like it's very premature. You know what I mean? And like, it just doesn't really make sense. And on top of that, like, we've pretty much been up only for the last, what is it, like 6 weeks now, with almost no big pullbacks. I mean, we had a small pullback when CZ stepped down, but I mean, it's pretty much been lights out since then. And I think that people, they like to cling on to narratives a lot, right? And it's kind of like Cardano, right? Like, the reason why Cardano pumped is because there was all these promises last cycle about smart contracts going live and all that stuff. And once smart contracts went live, it stopped running, right?
Yeah.
Like the most bearish things. The most bearish things is actually things going live and things actually happening, right? Because then the narrative just came to fruition,
Yeah, no, it's true, and people don't like, they all compare it to gold. It's funny because, like, everybody in crypto compares, Bitcoin specifically to digital gold. It's like, when you look at the spot ETF that was released in 2004, I think maybe even 2003, but specifically the one in November 2004, you saw like a 6-month fallback after that, like, which was like 15% on gold's price, which was a $3 trillion market cap. So, I just anticipate the same thing, and people don't realize that Gary. I mean, this dude sucks. I mean, like, there's nothing good about this dude. He's continuously lost lawsuits that he keeps filing with taxpayer funds, and continually just loses back to back to back. Now he's got like ETH Foundation type conspiracies tied to him because he lied to MIT when he was teaching his students about it being a security or not. He lied about who founded it, and there's favoritism that's coming in from that perspective. So it's like, this is the approval is being approved by someone that just either hates himself or is obviously just an industry elitist that has a committee that's pulling a lot more strings behind the back, and something that they can do, and people don't want to admit it. And this is very similar to the Ripple lawsuit with XRP. People said it was going to be over every single month for the last 3-4 years at this point, however long it's been now. And it's like, they can keep denying, and they can literally deny everybody and then force them to take them to court and drag it out for another 6 months to 2 years. No problem. That's not something that they're scared of. So it's, then you have to ask yourself the question of, this is also election cycle. So, Gary Gensler, there's one thing I think he wants, and one thing only, and that's actually to be the United States Treasury. I think he wants to be, I think he wants to take over Janet Yellen's spot. I really, truly believe that. And so, if that is his overall goal here, does he want to be the one responsible to launch a financial product that their regulators, the regulators, don't want initiated? And so you have to, this is something we can't see on the back end and nobody can see, but I can promise you guys, like, pushing for legislation, working in these committees and working with lobbyists, there is so many moving parts behind the scenes. Like, there's a reason why BlackRock is meeting with the SEC multiple times. If BlackRock was absolutely confident in their filing system, they wouldn't be coming back to the SEC for these meetings that are being, quote unquote, pursued every month or so. Like, they would be confident in the issuance of whatever they filed in the first place. So, from that outlook, I have to go back to the conclusion here that, I agree. I truly don't believe that we're going to see it on January 10th. And it makes me more agreeance with that when I see the Goldman Sachs and all these Bloomberg analysts coming out and saying there's a 90% chance that it gets approved on that date.
Yeah,
So,
that
you know,
won't
I'm still
happen.
looking March, and that's kind of where I'm at.
I wanna
Yeah.
I wanna entertain that idea, Josh. I love it. Just we have a demand to go on a 1 second chart and watch BTC as it makes New Yearly
All
highs.
right, let's do that. Let's do that. But look at
All
this.
right.
Look at this. Have you guys
Go
seen
go
what's going
go
on
on
right
the
here?
5-minute chart, man.
All right.
Go
We're
on the
gonna go
One
on
half
the 1
second.
second.
1
half
second.
second.
No,
1
The
second.
5-minute chart.
This is the
5
1 second.
minute.
30-second. Go to the 30-second chart.
All right, we'll do 30.
Look, I
Oh,
do
All right,
man.
here we go. Today for the Bitcoin price, as you can see here, we are now testing against new yearly highs for Bitcoin. If we keep on continuing with this trend, we will hit our target of 45K before the year ends, exactly as predicted.
Oh, I got
Wow.
okay. Yep. Now I get it. I didn't think about it. The moon.
Oh
Got
no,
it.
it's
Okay.
over, guys. It's
Oh,
over.
no.
Now,
12K.
to what Josh was saying earlier. So
Exactly
first of all,
what I
Josh, you think it's going to get delayed, right? On January, and then the next time is March.
Yeah, I think it's 10% chance it gets approved in January. I think it's 90% chance it's denied. That's where I stand with that.
I would actually like it because I think the longer they postpone, like for me, and I will stand by this, right? The spot ETF approval is a huge thing longer term, always. Like it's always a bullish news, longer term. For the price, right? Not for the asset itself, in my opinion, but like for the price, it's bullish, definitely longer term. Just like rate cuts are bullish longer term, always. They can be bearish shorter term, but it's another discussion. But speaking of BTC, I always stated that it will matter a lot when it gets released. It's always bullish longer term. But if we have been pumping, if we're going to be pumping all the way until the approval, let's say it gets approved in March, right? If we are pumping all the way until March and we are trading, anything above 50K, then I do not believe that approval by that point will cause some instant pump. I think the opposite. I think at that point it's going to cause the rotation, because it's always about the levels mainly. The market structure. That's always the thing number one. And we've seen the same with NVIDIA. We were discussing this last Tuesday when it was hitting new all-time highs, and I was saying to the guys, I don't care too much what the number is on the release of the earnings. It's going to pull back here. And the earnings were actually really good, and still the market is going down right now to create that pullback. So it's always about the time. Like it depends what the news is, obviously, especially longer term, but it's always about when it gets released. So for example, should that ETF get approved, for example, when we were trading at 60K, and you would get sudden news that the spot ETF has been approved, and that would fucking skyrocket the price. Should it happen here, skyrocket the price. But if by then we are trading above significant level, it may not cause that pump anymore. Like it's always going to cause some pump, right? But I'm talking about like the big higher time frame move that's going to follow. And I think we could actually, if it's going to get approved by March and we are at that time trading anything above 50K, in my opinion, that is the beginning of the rotation for the pullback.
I mean, just look at this, man. Just look at this. I was tweeting. Me and Will did this yesterday, right? Like, these are the same levels on all three charts: Bitcoin, ETH, and the S&P, right? This shoulder is what's important, right? So the S&P broke out, tapped the shoulder, tested the breakout. Now it's tapping it again. The equivalent levels for Bitcoin would be 48 back to 32. ETH, we haven't even broken out yet. ETH would be 3,600 back to 2K, and then do whatever. Can you imagine? I mean,
man.
Here's the thing, though. We at BB we have entertained and we talked about a move up to the high 40s and a roll all the way back down into the low 30s to mid 30s.
That's when you have your second opportunity to buy Celestia at $3 to $4, man.
Yes,
because
exactly,
that thing,
exactly,
man,
Bobby.
that thing, like Celestia, if you've been like leverage trading around Celestia, you've been getting like chopped to pieces, man. Because like when that thing goes in either direction, it likes to go, right.
Mhm.
And I think that like a lot of these winners that you've been seeing rip, their retracements are just as hard. Just look at Rollbit, man. Rollbit went from like just under like 2.5 cents from June all the way to 22 cents. No, actually, no, all the way to like 15 or 16 cents or 17 cents, and then nuked all the way down to like 6 or 7 cents, and then pumped, and then basically went up in a straight line to 25 cents. And
Mhm.
since that time, it's just been bleeding profusely against BTC and ETH. So, like, a lot of these winners, once they have like their heavy retracement, they probably only have like one last leg up where the attention is on them, and then the attention goes to like another narrative, right? So it's like one thing we do have to pay attention to is like the context of how we get to certain levels on Bitcoin, right? Like if we go to 48K, what's the context? Like, does it happen by the end of the year? Does it happen right after the halving? Does it happen before the halving, right? And how does the environment look at that time? Because like one thing that I'm very, very cautious of is when the Fed actually starts cutting. And
Yeah.
usually the first three cuts the first three cuts, if we go by what happened during the last cutting cycle in the second half of 2019, the first three cuts are the most brutal. The first one is like, okay, let's pull back a bit. But the second and third one, take a look at 2019, man. We basically went straight down from like 11,000 to 6,500, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think that's when you'll get that like what was it, Tucker? Like the 35 to 40% pullback, right? That
I
like
mean, this is
could
what we're looking at, right? Excluding COVID, we had a 53% pullback. But what you have to take into account too is that in 2019 we pumped
Yeah.
350%, right? So we have not done that, right? We've even to here we've done 150, right? So maybe half that. So
What's
depend
300% from there, from the bottom of 2022?
300 would be 50, no, 60.
So literally almost double.
Surprise.
exactly as Jackus predicted from intra market analysis. Guys, I see there's almost 60
Zombie.
people here. Go ahead and smash that like button. We cannot continue unless you guys smash the like button. Smash the like button. Go crazy in the comment section. What do you want to see us chart? We're here joined by Joshua Drake, Tucker, Yannick Yellen, and also myself, King Wabi, from Because Bitcoin, streaming from you live in this emergency Bitcoin price update.
Okay, guys,
man.
we have lots of people watching and two very little likes. And I have some special alpha today, but I demand, how it goes, guys. Greedy jackies, hungry
Greedy
people.
Jackus, man.
I want 80, guys. 80, and at the end of the show today, I'm gonna show something truly amazing that you wanna look for. That's gonna be real alpha that has not been shared yet.
Jaxus
Okay?
is dropping his
So
OnlyFans. I leaked it.
there we go.
Dude, I have to agree with that one though. It just makes the most sense. I don't know. I think we get that pump and then that full retracement. I'm gonna have to put my money where my mouth is because I think it's. I don't know. The more I think about that, it's just like I think early January I kind of want to be out of these markets. But unfortunately, I'll be in Europe for like 2 weeks. So like, let's just pray it doesn't drop before I get back. So because I ain't bringing my hardware wallet there. That's not trading on some public airport Wi-Fi.
I know
By the way,
the
George, whenever you wanna share the screen once again, show us
go ahead
some
whenever
good
you
stuff.
want.
Whenever you want, go for it.
Yeah, let me pull some more stuff up. I was just on Slacks and stuff, so give me 2 seconds.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean because the dump post halving the dump post halving would be more 2015, 2016, right? Because we didn't dump post halving last time. That was like a 40% dump after the halving. So, well, 26%, but
And that was after that halving, there was a ton of FUD around Ethereum. One of like the core devs essentially said that like it was even a copy pasta on Twitter for the longest time. He basically said that like, you know, you guys have all fell for the psyop. Ethereum was just like a playground that's not really gonna do anything. It's just an experiment, and you guys fell for it. And then Ethereum, if you look at the Ethereum price action from July 2016, or rather June 2016, all the way to December 2016, it was practically straight down, dude. We went from $25 all the way to $5. It was atrocious.
Atrocious.
Pulling the big boy words out today.
I think like the most important levels to fill is basically the gaps that we haven't tapped from the Luna UST crash, right? Because like if we're being honest, right, if Luna never went to zero, and they did some like crazy rebrand where it's like you don't get much yield from UST, you only get like 1% yield or something like that. I don't really think that like we would have nuked as hard, and I ultimately think that like the bottom should like UST not have actually happened, or even FTX. I think that like the bottom would have probably been like 25 to 28K in my honest opinion, man. Like max like 25, 28K, man. So I feel like that downturn that happened within like a couple of weeks, right, from 48 down to 17, it was sort of wild, man. It was like a wild time. There was just no volume, and all the bounces on these altcoins would just get retraced immediately.
You talking about this move?
Yeah,
you're talking about this was Luna, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Luna one. And
June, yeah. Or wait, no, it started in May though, didn't it?
No. So like UST started to have like some issues around like mid-April, and every other day like Do Kwon would call people poor and all that stuff. And
I remember
like
that,
yeah. It was really, really cringe. And then like
those weren't red flags at all.
And then like you just started to feel like a vibe shift, and people were like, yeah, I'm gonna like sell my UST right now. And then like the thing with UST is that like you actually had a chance to get out, right? So it's like it wasn't really like FTX where it just rugged out of nowhere, unless you were like really active on Twitter and like you had a pulse of what was going on, because so many people were doing Twitter spaces. And in 2022, like your best move, as crazy as it sounds, but like in 2022 or in any other bear market, like your best friend as an individual that wants to preserve capital is to actually listen to like the macro doomers, right? Like you listen to them for like a quarter or two, and like you mitigate your risk. And then when it seems like the end of the world is going to happen after a crash, that's when you scale in, right? And I feel like if Luna didn't actually go to zero, a lot of this would have been mitigated, but the market would have still done its thing and, you know, retraced, but I don't really think it would have retraced that hard. So I feel like,
I know who the macro doomer you're talking about listening to is, Wabi. That's funny. Who saved you from Luna?
It was just the Bitcoiner laser eyes guys, man. Like the laser eyes people, like when in a bear market, like those are the guys to listen to, right? Like the ones that are like, yeah, I got into Bitcoin in like 2011, 2012, and they've just been talking about macro since 2020, right? Because like, I mean, fellas, like people think that, oh, you were in COVID, you made a ton of money, but like what people don't realize is that like a lot of people were saying that the stock market is going to go to zero. This is the end of the dollar when they were printing all this stimulus, right? Like people forget that like during COVID, normal people thought that it was actually over. They thought the Ponzi was over. You know what I'm saying? And it's really only a small percentage of individuals that realize that like, you know, this COVID ZERP policy, right? Zero interest rates and QE and all that stuff. Like it was honestly pretty generous. And I actually tweeted something out, and it's like, I fumbled multi-generational wealth in 2021, the pinnacle of all bull markets and the most generous monetary regime imaginable. If I didn't make it then, what hope do I have now? It's a little joke that I had tweeted out, but like that sort of ease, right, in monetary policy, I don't think we're gonna see that again, man. But at the same time, like I understand that the Fed is always going to find a way to engineer liquidity into the system, but like, man, handing out a bunch of stimulus checks, I don't know, brother. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I doubt they do that again. I think it would take a lot for them to print the way they did too, and drop reserve ratios to zero for banks like that. It was unheard of.
Unless a certain somebody wins
like
the election.
That's a legitimate Ponzi when the bank has a reserve ratio of 0. Dude.
Don't worry, they'll create a reverse repo market that has
Let's
magic
go.
In it. So,
yeah.
And then they're going to create the reverse repo market, which actually I think there is a reverse repo market, but it's not reverse. It's called something else now. It blows my mind how I made this joke. I think it was yesterday on your guys' stream. I was like, dude, the people running, these economists running our country, like their certificates, like their education is like no better than a Club Penguin certificate for passing the handyman course. So it's it gives me confidence in my ability to be able to navigate these markets and work in it. It makes me feel better, like, okay, these people aren't smart. So obviously education is definitely self-taught in some ways. But I have my chart here. I wanted to show this. This is a perfect example. A lot of people, this is another fallacy. This is another false perspective on the Fed pivot in the industry that a lot of retail investors have. Oh, they're gonna pivot, and that's somehow bullish, and they're gonna print all this money and send markets higher. And if even though I do believe today that, and shout out to Jaxis again on this, because I was falling down this thesis of Bitcoin becoming a commodity due to the functionality of being able to access the negative energy markets. And then Jaxis kind of showed me the charts with its comparisons to a lot of these commodities and how it's traded as such. There's a massive demand and the correlation to those markets. I do personally believe, I don't think it's this cycle necessarily, but this following cycle that altcoins and Bitcoin would truly break away, because I believe, something I'm very cautious on, and we spoke about this yesterday, was just that, and actually Gary Cardone said it, and I 100% agreed, which was that I think your Exxons and Conocos and your large oil providers and energy providers are going to be the true ones that come in and capitalize off Bitcoin miners and converting that energy, because they get energy for so cheap, right? And so when you look at your Fed pivot charts, guys, when the Feds pivot in 2000, 1981, 1973, 1969, all the way up to 2020 or 2019, markets might move very briefly to the upside for a few. 2019 was a few weeks, not a few days, but a few weeks. But they're traditionally followed by some massive downside on the S&P, and you can see it. It's the opposite effect. So, generally when the Feds pivots, because something breaks in these markets, and while that might be bullish for crypto, I believe long term. You saw what happened with Silicon Valley Bank, right? There was a massive flash crash. And if you actually get something that breaks, and we do see this initial Fed pivot, I think a lot of altcoins could potentially bleed pretty freaking hard. And so, and I don't expect the Feds to pivot at all until probably late 2024 or early 2025. I think they're going to remain higher for longer with the interest rates. And, that's just which means that is bullish for obviously the next year. But that's why I'm really watching for that. That would be my out, is looking next is definitely around next, probably August to September, is where I'm really looking to be like, okay, this is where I really need to take some massive profit. And that will be the focus point there. And then that kind of feeds into the narrative. I think once we pivot here, this is where we move into that commodities based like super cycle. And some people will be like, what super cycles don't exist, yada, yada, yada. If you look at the correlation, I don't have the chart up, Jackson, you might have them saved on your PC, but about every 10 to 15 years, you get this transition from where stocks and easy money is in the market to hard assets and commodities are favored. And so, with the macro tensions and the macro scenarios that we're in today, it's not overcomplicated to look at the macro economy and be like, all right, we're moving away from globalization. There's tensions rising. We've been in 2+ conflicts just in the last 2 years at this point. Markets are starting to anticipate BRICS launching their shitty, basket of goods currency that will literally fail ultimately and is completely trash. But that's another conversation. But that's going to create this need for commodities once again. And so I do kind of fall under that category. And I don't think this is where I get really, especially as I'm really trying to help with legislation and writing and passing, the bills that will benefit us in these markets, is you have to be really careful when you classify crypto as its entirety as digital commodities. Like I truly believe Bitcoin is a digital commodity. It's probably going to be the greatest digital commodity to ever exist, and probably the greatest commodity to ever exist, just because of the attributes that it can provide through the proof of work in the energy market. But the rest of these altcoins are like straight up securities. And I'm not saying all of them are at all. But 90% of them, definitely, they completely rely on founders and they're just raising capital through ICOs. And so, it's this fine line that you have to approach. And that's why this next year, I truly believe in diminishing returns. I think that this will be the last cycle that you can truly make a disgusting amount of money. And I'm not saying that you won't be able to in future cycles. You'll have AI and quantum that will probably open up entirely new markets. But that's the focus here. So I just wanted to show that with the Fed pivots, because a lot of people, they get really bullish on, they're going to print more money. It's like, yeah, but that usually is the result of a really negative impact on our markets as an entirety. So
real quick too, to add to that, Josh, I think a lot of people just don't understand the whole securities thing either, and they just don't. It's exactly what you said. A lot of these founders are coming to the space looking for basically startup liquidity, and startup liquidity it requires in the U.S. if you're going to look for startup liquidity in the U.S. you to go through the securities exchange, and because they're doing this, they're essentially putting themselves at risk, of getting their business pretty much taken down. But at the same time, they're taking advantage of investors, and this is why the altcoin market tends to never stand on its own two legs, because most of these startup companies, they're just ideas that somebody came up with in their basement, and they throw it out there, and they make a code that essentially puts that idea out there, but there's no way to proof that idea or show that idea can be profitable. And that's always the issue with speculating altcoins, is you speculate that these proofs or these ideas have been proved, and they haven't been. None of them have been proved. They're an idea that was created with a code that was created with no real security involved, more than likely, into the code. And that's why half of them get hacked. And then, at some point they end up, getting pretty much 99x down by the time the bear market comes, while Bitcoin sees significantly less losses.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with all that. What just makes the industry hard, and is why you got to just realize it's definitely very well over speculated, because people don't even understand the traditional markets. And I wish you could replace Janet Yellen, because you obviously know a lot more than her.
Let's not replace Janet here.
Dude, she drives
Just
me
the one in the
crazy.
office. Yeah, Will used to be a Caroline Ellison here, but Max got fed up with it, and now it's Janet Yellen. But I'm waiting until Jerome Powell arrives.
I was just about to mention DeSci, Josh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is I'm just going through my watch list right here. That was awesome, man. Shout out to CZ this week for pumping my bags relentlessly.
By the way,
go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to address that diminishing returns. So I'm in that camp too. I just think, as we've discussed, I think this next cycle is going to actually be the opposite because so many things aligns and you always need to put everything in context, right? So this cycle, we are getting spot ETFs, we are getting that commodity cycle, and we will be getting world Bitcoin adoption too. And I think because of that, we will see only this cycle, I think. And because also you have and this is major, right? You have basically everyone now agreeing on the fact that BTC will have a diminished cycle. And everyone is looking to sell around 100K and thinks that's the top of this cycle. And whenever you have that sort of public consensus on that, it never happens. And there is very little people saying that, there are either people saying, hey, it's going to zero Bitcoin, like it's not surpassing all-time high and blah blah blah, or there are people basically agreeing. So like they'll look, okay, last cycle we went the cycle before, right? We went like from the all-time high that was around 1,200, then we went to 20,000. Then the next cycle we went 20,000 to 69. And basically everyone's now saying like, okay, 69, so we go to like 100, maybe 120, maybe like 150, but that's not happening. So everyone's in this camp of diminishing cycles. And I just think so many people will look to sell there. And what actually happens is that the market then continues to go higher and makes all these people FOMO back in at the top. But it's not just this, right? This is like the overall context that I'm always trying to put together. And once again, it's about mainly it's about the commodity cycle we are in, and that BTC will be viewed and accepted as this digital commodity. And you also have the spot ETS and and the world adoption, so I think everything is lining up here. But then, of course, I think the diminishing cycles will be there because the higher market cap these assets gets, the lower the percentages moves will be, right? And yeah, and also people have always been speculating, who is going to be our exit liquidity this cycle, and
Yeah.
I legit think it's going to be the banana republics. Like so many people will look at, for example, El Salvador, how they probably pay their debt, right, to the IMF and make extra money, and the country is doing really well. So they'll be like, hey, we gotta FOMO this Bitcoin standard. It works so well for El Salvador. And it would not surprise me how lots of these banana republics FOMO the top with taxpayers' money.
Well, I think there's gonna be also, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of money that can come from a lot of these unaccessed markets. Yeah, I mean, even look at Hong Kong. They're trying to launch their own spot ETFs too, and they've done even though through VPNs and other means of steps you could take to access the market, Hong Kong's looking to issue their own spot ETFs as well. And Xi Jinping has, from a geopolitical scale, started to really back up. Well, actually, just a political scale from their own country. Start now incentivizing people to have kids and everything. So a lot of the policies they had that were so controlling didn't work, and he's starting to see the cracks in the system. And so they're starting to like really back away from a lot of those strict laws on their investors and their markets. And you're seeing that specifically again out of Hong Kong. So that's even from these other there's so many different markets that could open up. And even in the United States, there's plenty of cattle, so to speak, that they will farm when they release that spot ETF, because all these financial advisors are going to go market to them. And I mean, we're still talking billions upon billions of dollars. So I would have to agree, but then 100%, I do agree Banana Republic as well. They can always get money out of us. Always, always, always. But again, I agree with everything you just said. I think we're going to start seeing this commodity move towards a commodity. I think you're going to see a lot of these altcoins. Like, dude, if Ethereum is considered not a security, we're screwed. I don't think it should be a commodity. I don't think necessarily it should be a security. But if you want to call it a digital currency, we need new laws and a committee that specifically creates, like maybe I think it was Senator Loomis that had an idea where, like, if you're going to launch a digital currency and you claim it to be completely decentralized, you have 3 years to do so. If not, you have to pay the fees and fines of being considered a security. And so whether you need like this certain threshold, But now, guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever were paying attention to it, but Ethereum has just proved one thing about proof of stake, and proof of stake is inevitably, it doesn't matter what platform you have, proof of stake inevitably leads towards centralization. There's no running from that. You can't have, I say it all the time, the decentralization in a capitalistic society. You're just going to have someone that comes in with more money, more power, and more control each and every single time.
Well,
so
not just that though. I do want to poke at that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think in addition to that, Ethereum changing its code altogether is actually obscene, right? Like I think if they were immune to any type of like securities because of something that was previously said, I think the second they change their code, that immunity should go away, right?
Yep.
And I just don't see why that's not happening personally. But it's not hate against Ethereum. It's just people should hate anything that's consistently like that's not it's not immutability. It's not consistent code. It's not code that's that's foolproof. When you're able to alter your code, you're just showing that your code had flaws. You're showing that your chain had flaws, and people are bidding the flawed chain, right? Whereas Bitcoin hasn't changed since conception. Some people will hate on that whole analogy, but Bitcoin hasn't changed since inception yet. Ethereum has.
Yeah, and dude, if anybody, imagine if Bitcoin switched right now, like nobody would use it. Yeah, no, 100%. And so it's an interesting perspective, but everybody just looks past it. And then of course you have your regulators like Gary Gensler literally favoring it, saying it's not a security years ago with Jay Clayton, which was our former SEC chair. So makes it a hard industry, makes it a very hard industry.
I'm glad that both of these exist, right? And I'm glad that Bitcoin is not changing because Bitcoin is essentially money. It's a digital commodity. It can be money. It can be store for NFTs. It can be anything what people want it to be. And I'm glad it's not changing. I agree with you. I'm also a fan of proof of work way more because like that's the libertarian thought basically, right? You have to put in the work for the value. So, but speaking objectively too about Ethereum, so I have no idea what it evolves into, but solely looking at the chart, I like something big is going to happen. And right now, obviously, price is down, so tech is bad. But I'm looking at the chart and I am seeing that it outperforms BTC. That's what I'm seeing. Doesn't matter. I still think like BTC is the best thing in crypto for now, at least. It will probably stay that way, right? But I'm also glad that Ether is what it is. People are trying new things there, and that's good, because it's even good. That's what I always argue with core Bitcoin maxis. Like the fact that so many shitcoins exist is good for BTC because it shows that that's not the way. And knowing that something's not the way is also positive for the actual thing, right? And it's like you can think of altcoins as sort of testnet for BTC basically too, right? In a way where like they can fuck up things, they can try out things, and I'm just glad that BTC stays.
Hold on, Jackus. I heard testnet. Did you just say that Bitcoin was merely a testnet for Caspa? Is that what I heard, brother?
Oh my God! I thought he was gonna make a celestial one. I thought he's like, hey, modular blockchains in the future. It's all good points, and I think that's why I personally follow something I call it a VC strategy with my portfolio. I call it the 50-25-25 VC rule. And it's 50% is always at Bitcoin, and yes, that will be ETH or blue chips, just because those at this point Ethereum has been around forever. Again, it's got that regulatory favorism, but majority of it's Bitcoin. So I hold a good amount of Bitcoin. Then 25% is your large caps, and then the last 25% is where I do this VC spray at tokens that I'm looking into, narratives I think can pick up. And one of the ones that I was early on was of course the DeSci stuff, which I've been in for a couple of years now. Which of course CZ just randomly tweets about biotech and decides to pump the industry by like $50 million, which is just wild that someone has that much power. But You know, and so that's that last 25%. So moving into the future, it's like, you know, it's not something to be scared of. It's something to be aware of. Understand that these markets are going to react this way or act this way. You want to proact to that. And so, you know, that's where you just got to diversify moving into each and every single cycle. Because at the end of the day, guys, like, you know, I know we're kind of speaking about doom and gloom, it sounds like, in terms of, we're like, oh yeah, all coins are bad. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist at all. I'm definitely just a free market capitalist. And I understand within that free market that, you know, you're going to have bad actors and you're going to have good actors. But, you know, just as George Lucas says from Star Wars is, you know, the balance of the force, there's no such thing as, you know, complete good and complete evil. They balance out each other. So if you have double the evil, you're going to have, for example, Luke and Leia be born and balance out that evil. And it's all part of the storyline and the never ending, you know, balance of that good and evil. And it exists in these markets. So if you have a market that is overly flooded with bad actors and VCs taking advantage of the industry, the regulations are going to come in and suppress that, right? And it's this constant balance of back and forth, which, you know, once you get into philosophy, ironically, I guess what you'd say, even though this is the underlying ethos of crypto is related based off libertarian beliefs, it's very progressive liberalism today. And that's because each and every single network kind of, and you see it with the cult-like communities, will literally kill another community just in order for them to survive. They will market against it. They'll spread misinformation. They'll FUD. They'll do whatever they need to survive. And I think you're going to see the same thing happen with Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin miners are now controlled primarily by institutions. And those institutions will continuously keep buying more and more and more and acting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper energy, innovating more and more and more, because they don't want a China or a Russia or any of these other companies to outperform them. That's bullish for crypto in general, but there's a underlying philosophy behind that will completely just disrupt the lower class and middle class like ourselves. So, you know, I'm going on a rant here, but that's the point of the VC strategy. You just look at it like a free market capitalist. That is what this market is. Anybody can access on a global scale. And this is the first time we're able to do that in history. So I follow that simple strategy, 50, 25, 25, and that allows me to, you know, take advantage of some of those narratives. And I have two up here. I kind of wanted to share you guys with like what my portfolio looks like, because this might, you know, I'm definitely not a Bitcoin maxi. I just definitely sounds like I preach it a lot. And this is no way, shape, or form the order of the portfolio. This is just by market cap, and I have kind of the watch list. But I just wanted to scroll through it and just show you guys like how diversified it is. Like I have decentralized science, I have supply chains, I have logistic providers, I have AI tokens, I have cross-border remittance systems, I have GPU rendering, I have DeFi, I have lending, right? I want to access each and every single one of those networks.
And I would love to. I love that STX and what you think of it, man.
Yeah, Stacks is. I've been in for a long time at this point. I think, you know, ever since the narrative, I was like, wow, miners, institutions are going to come in. I saw BlackRock investing into Bitcoin, etc. You know, I just knew the money was going to flow into Bitcoin. So for you guys that don't know, Stacks is a layer one solution for Bitcoin. It's bringing smart contracts to its ecosystem and DeFi to Bitcoin itself. It has a few products built on it, like Alex, which is a lending protocol. And so, you know, my perspective on it is just Bitcoin's going to explode. Investors are going to follow the money. If Bitcoin gets labeled as a commodity, you're going to see a lot of people just flood into that ecosystem, and it's going to just ultimately benefit the layer ones and layer twos that are built off of Bitcoin that strive for it. Stacks to this day, I think, is the only layer one solution. I think you also have like TET, you have ICP integrating Bitcoin natively, but Stacks is like specifically built for Bitcoin itself. So I like it. It's not like the fastest. It's not this, you know, it's not the cheapest. It's not the most decentralized, etc. But they're all automatically hashed and settled on the Bitcoin layer one. So Stacks blocks are secured by 100% Bitcoin hash power. And in order to reorder Stacks blocks transactions, an attacker would have to literally reorganize Bitcoin. So they'd have to attack Bitcoin. So it's built on the security of Bitcoin. It's bringing those smart contracts and dApps to Bitcoin itself. And I've always just been a fan of it because it's got a lot of shit over the years, but now it's starting to really I mean, it follows Bitcoin's price action. So I picked this up in the bear market pretty cheaply. And then now I'm just like, I still believe Bitcoin's the most fundamentally misunderstood asset. I think you're going to get the layer ones. You're going to get that innovation built off of it in the layer twos that, yes, are more centralized, but I'm like not scared of centralization. I think, again, centralization's a myth, or decentralization's a myth. You don't want full centralization, and you don't want full decentralization. That'd be complete communism or complete pretty much fascism or authoritarianism. So you want to be it's a meter. You want to be in between that. And there's going to be solutions that provide that can still access and utilize Bitcoin security as they scale their network. And that's what Stacks is doing. So yeah, I'm a fan of it. And the tokenomics are pretty legitimate, 78% in circulation. So you're not going to be dumped on massively from diluted tokenomics.
Love it.
Hey guys, I do have to drop off, but brother. But it's been a great stream, Tucker, Josh, Yalin, and Jackus. So
all right, Bobby.
I'll catch you guys.
Is it nap time, Wobby?
No.
It's nap
Wait,
time.
ask myself.
I have a question before you leave. Who's the real old man now?
Yeah, say that again.
I said, who's the real old man now?
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna take a nap, brother. I'm not gonna take a nap. I do have to eat. I'll tell you what. But yeah, man, I'll see you guys on the space if you guys want to join. But Josh, thank you, man, for coming on. This has been a pretty great stream. I know Max is taking the day off as well as Tommy. So I'll see you guys on our spaces in about 4 hours or so. And if you haven't liked, go ahead and smash that like button. Evan Casey, man, he's a trooper, man. The American
second best, man.
The American the American dream, dude. The American dream, Evan Casey. So yeah, guys, if you haven't clicked subscribe, go ahead and do that. And we're still running our free month promotion for our Discord. All of those links are down below in the description box. This is Wabi signing out. I'll see you guys on our next stream later on today. Take care.
Awesome stuff, brother. See ya. By the way, I love what Champ said in the chat, if you can highlight that. He said, Josh shits on Ripple and XRP, but owns some. The issue is we all hate it, but no, there is some truth behind all these bank partnerships and meetings with government leaders. And I would extrapolate that to like even BTC, right? This is the thing, right? Is that you need to be positioning yourself, even if you are wrong. And I think so many institutions, they don't actually care about, for example, like BTC, what it represents or anything, but they still need to position themselves just in case BTC is actually what they say there it is, right? So
it's called forced capitulation.
Yeah. So with this in mind, like I myself hate XRP, right? But I'm still going to be positioning myself because, as I've been saying, these past weeks, especially you guys know the sauce that are part of the BB Discord, what's going on there. But at some point they will win the case and the price will skyrocket. I mean, skyrocket, right? So you want to be positioned for yourself because lots of time people think of or so many people speak of the downside risk, but nobody speaks of the upside risk, right? And this is the upside risk that Josh is mitigating by holding XRP. And yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I was like, yeah, and I want to clarify. He's wrong in the terms that I hate XRP. That's why I loved it. That's why I picked it up. The reason why people think I hate it is because you disagree with me in the sense that I don't believe it's going to go to $100 or $10,000 or some outrageous number. The XRP itself is a very mid blockchain. It's a distributed ledger technology that barely integrated NFTs and smart contracts, and they just had to add on EVM because they realized there's a lot more outside the ecosystem. So Ripple, though, I love Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Jed McCaleb. You got to give these people credits for what they built. Jed McCaleb obviously left and now built the Stellar Foundation, but XRP, it's naive to think that that's going to pump to $50, $100, etc. But XRP, I've had since 17 cents. That's my average in right now. I bought it when it collapsed in the COVID-19 pandemic down to like 9 cents, picked them up, scooped it up. So I had a really low average, and I sold a good majority of it when I hit $1.20. And so I still hold it, man, and I still like it. But the reason why you hear me talk quote unquote shit about the XRP community is because a lot of it is maximalism, and I have to kill maximalism. If you're a maximalist, you just hate making money. That's just clear throat. That's where you're at in life, because you have to. You need exposure to other sectors. And while XRP's barely moved and hasn't hit an all-time high in 6.5 years, almost 7, we're coming up to the 7th year birthday. There's been dozens and hundreds and thousands of projects that have pumped hundreds, if not thousands of percentage points. And so, XRP is one of those projects, again, I like. They have really big partnerships. They're solving cross-border remittance systems, but they're not going to replace the US dollar as a standard. They're not some gold standard. They're not going to replace the banking system. They work with the banking system. They're on the registration management group. They're on the IDSA. They have obviously a massive position in these future global markets, but they're not taking over. And that's where, and I like to think that's a realistic perspective. I think anything other than that is overly hopium or, et cetera.
Josh,
But
to add to your point there too, Josh, like a lot of people don't understand it's misrepresentation. It's basically it confuses new investors. And anytime you confuse new investors, you're actually steering them away. You're not actually driving them to the asset. Because when people come in and they feel like they've been taken advantage of by a community, they will not continue to invest in that token. They won't continue, or buy an asset. We'll say, we won't even say community.
I love you, Chance, by the way.
But it is but it is the community itself that gets people into these positions to where expectations are far beyond reality, and then the person doesn't see those expectations, and then 99x's down because they're waiting for that scenario to happen, and they end up getting wrecked as a new investor, and now you've lost an investor. You haven't gained one. And a lot of people just don't understand that concept, right? Be honest with people about expectations, and you'll get realistic price action, and you'll drive price. Lie to people and try to tell them that something can happen that just in reality can't happen by a numerical standpoint, and we can just look at market cap, and I can give you an easy number on why it can't happen. More liquidity than what actually exists in the world. Like when you talk about these things, if you're illogical about stuff, you are not creating investors. You're creating people that will have disdain for the asset, and then you're creating a people that look at the asset as a cult and not necessarily as investors. And big investors don't do cults, right? They'll take advantage of them, but they don't do them.
I agree. And Champs brought up a good point. He's like, the XRP riddles. There's so many riddles. This isn't one of the main ones, but let's see if I can find one real quick. I know exactly what you're talking. Yeah, here you go. Like any of these things, they're like deciphering 22 2. I don't know, man. Dude, people will really, cases going down on 2/22/2021. Case and this just aged absolutely poorly. This is from December 2020. But like they're calling the date of the end of the securities or the lawsuits, etc. They just never turn out, man. But somehow people, what's this one right here? Yeah, dude, just I don't know who even creates these, man. I don't know who creates these.
One of them, though, if you create enough of them, one of them will work, and then they will tell you, "I told you so."
It's like The Simpsons,
Yeah,
like Simpsons predict the future. I'm like, they've made tens of thousands of episodes. Like, something is gonna be weirdly connected.
Legit.
Oh, this was the one I was talking about. I remember this one. They were trying to decipher everything that was put here. I'm like, some dude literally just made this on like Reddit for sure. I don't fuck it. It is what it is. Excuse my language, but so anyways, there's that life. But a good industry. I'm going to wrap up here because I know Wabi asked me about it, but was the decentralized science sector, which I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to anything that's been happening there, but I'm giving you guys the early alpha here. CZ from Binance will launch his own longevity project or something in the research realm of biotech. And that's going to pump this industry, which is very, very small, very, very, very small. by hundreds of millions of dollars, because you're also at that same time, I believe, going to see Brian Armstrong take a massive investment in, and you're going to get a lot of other industry founders and thought leaders in crypto, even like people like Charles Hoskinson, that are going to start really pushing towards that DeSci perspective. I don't know what it is about it, but when I got invited to Zuzaloo last year, which is a 300, and I'll be going this year too. It's a private event, 300 people only. It's with Vitalik Buterin. He invites us out to some crazy community thing. That's what last year was in Montenegro. And this year, I think will be Singapore. I think they already did Istanbul. Every single person that was going to this collectively, they talk about building smart cities. There's three things. Obviously, Ethereum and the advancements there. But then it was smart cities, and it was all like longevity and science, specifically the decentralized science sector. And decentralization, again, guys, that's just a buzzword. Essentially, what they're doing in the science industry with on-chain, with crypto, is just one, disrupting the big pharmaceutical company by giving people access, like scientists specifically, their rights to their IPs, which is huge for scientists. Scientists do not own their own IP rights under any Pfizer, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, etc. Two, it allows scientists for the first time in years to communicate on a global scale, make it with immutable changes on blockchain. So, you know, for peer-reviewed articles and scientific discoveries, and anything that uploaded through these peer-reviewed studies cannot be altered, making it more trustable, verifiable data. And they're using on-chain as well with AI to scale scientific discovery. And they're focusing all over. So whether it's longevity, whether it could be freaking hair loss, cancer therapeutics, space biosciences, it's like an emerging industry. And this is something that I know just personally, and I keep hearing these 100 million, billionaires, essentially. This is that next step. So that's some alpha for you guys. It just pumped disgustingly. I would not touch it right now because literally it just moved just because of CZ. But I'd pay attention to this industry, because when CZ does announce, and he will announce his whatever DAO he creates for whatever biotech institution or therapeutic industry he touches, it's going to pump these markets like hell. That, or he's going to join one of them on their board. But the only one that they've talked about, I got some alpha for you guys. Give me 2 seconds. Watch this, actually. There was a Binance report.
Thanks for sharing all of that knowledge with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. This is I'm a nerd for it. There's some really cool shit they're doing. Some really, really cool stuff. Let me, one of the million Discords we're all in. Let's go to, I think it's in calls. I put it, was it in watch list? No, it's on Twitter though. I know where to find it. Data Lake. Binance did call out a few projects. So these ones I'm watching, not all of them have tokens yet, because this is all happening. This has all been developed over the last year. But right here, he called out VitaDAO, which is obviously that's Vitalik Buterin's project. It's a longevity project. RSC Research Coin is Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase's project. This one right here is Genomes DAO. They're focusing on all genomics. And then you have, I know Data Lakes. Oh, Data Lakes right next to it. And those are the four with tokens on this screen. And this is from Binance Research earlier this year in March. So they're watching it. They know about it. And I don't know if he'll join one of these teams, or he's, in my opinion, it's CZ. He'll make his own, especially now that he's got nothing else to worry about. He doesn't have to worry about an exchange. So yeah, there's that. There's some alpha.
Yeah, he'll definitely make his own. It'll probably pump all of them.
Where do you think CZ moves from here, though? Like, I know
Jail.
what you just said, right? Okay.
He moves into a jail cell. You mean like what part of the industry he moves into?
Yeah, like obviously he's probably going to take break, whether it's on a vacation or in a jail, but he's probably staying with the industry after the break. So where do you
100%.
think? Do you think he comes back, like after the 3 years, back to Binance? Do you think he launches something new on his own, or where do you think it's gonna go?
I personally believe he's going to launch his own decentralized science project, which just means a fundraising platform for some biotech or longevity protocol he's interested in. And the reason being is the one thing billionaires care about, they're not going to stop working, but they all agree on longevity. That is what I've learned from these private events. Doesn't matter if you're disagreements, it doesn't matter if you hate each other, it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. there's at a point in time where CZ is a multi-billionaire. Even after this lawsuit, he'll have billions upon billions of dollars. And if he goes and launches a project, he's going to raise, it will hit $1 billion market cap, no problem. So, you know, from that outlook, I think he's going to come into this sector because he's hit the threshold of where he feels that he's done enough for the industry, but now he wants to, in their eyes, do good for the world. And I think that he's going to try to access that through science. And that's kind of the same mentality for all of these like Vitalik Buterin. Again, he's like kind of there's so much nuance and stuff that he's getting like dogged on for with that's happened at Ethereum. These private events, he feels like he's doing good again. And so it's like Brian Armstrong, everybody, they're coming into this industry. And so I expect this. And I don't think he might start it while he's in jail, dude, to be honest. I don't imagine he's going to be in an actual jail cell. I imagine he's going to be in a penthouse in Miami with an ankle bracelet. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I think he's going to do something around that. It could be nanotech. It could be, I wish I had an idea. All I know is it's this industry, and that's why I'm diversified into it. So
I love how you said that, like all these people, all these billionaires, they think they are doing good. But I love how you said, like, they think they are doing good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they think they are, and they end up funding the wrong projects. I'll be in, it might be, this is early, premature, so I can't confirm or deny this will happen. But there's a convention more than likely happening down in Panama where I'll be sitting down with the creators, like the founders of AGI, the actual technology. So that's like that's what builds OpenAI and ChatGPT, those type of stuff. But the creators of all those, so you can kind of think of names. But been in talks with that. You know, a lot of these people, they're building products. But this is the thing. They don't realize, guys, everything in these industries, when you're building code's freedom of speech. And the way you develop code is built off an underlying philosophical belief of the people coding that network. So when you embed with AI specifically, and they're using AI, everything in science uses artificial intelligence, and everything in the future is going to use artificial intelligence, or it's going to get left behind. You're going to have billionaires just come in and think that they're doing the world a public service, but it's built off a program and general purpose model. Not general purpose, but the language models that create the AI softwares are all biased in one way. And almost all of them are closed source. So when you're using an AI or you're on social media, Google uses AI to feed and filter you more and more content. You don't know what it's actually forcing you. Does it know and understand that you are inclined to watch a video because you are very conservative, and they're going to feed you conservative content and force you down a hole that you don't realize just because they're farming money off of you? When you're using a, Chat GPT, and you're using a, one of these general purpose models, you don't know if it's feeding you a, Vivendi, modus vivendi, like liberal perspective, or a nationalist perspective, or, a fascist perspective. You don't know what the underlying code is telling you underlying in the tone of speech that it's utilizing. So the same thing with science, right? Should we be doing science and prolonging life? I think so, yes, 100%. Should we prolong life, though, and have billionaires access a closed source software and fund all of it entirely and have access to longevity while the 99% don't? Probably not. That's going to end up in one of those Matt Damon video or movies. I think it was like where like you have the ultra wealthy living in space and everybody poor living on the planet. So yeah, brings a lot of philosophical questioning into it, but that it all ends one way, and billionaires are all going to do what billionaires do and do what they want. So, yeah, good point.
Good thoughts there.
Jackus, did we hit the like count?
We did not today, but it's okay.
Guys, smash that like button.
We've been running for a while too.
Yeah, I got to hop off here, guys. But go for it. You had a question, Jack?
No. I was just anyway, I forget my thoughts there too. But yeah, that was a lovely speech today, actually, and it's bringing that. This is what I love, that whenever there is someone new coming on, whether it's the Spaces, right, or the Market Check, he just brings fresh ideas to discuss, fresh new data points for me to analyze, for example. And I like, this is so awesome, because whenever you You know, you find some people around you that you like enjoy, right? But at some point, you know, your level of knowledge sort of, you know, you like expand your expressions, your data points, what you look at, right? And then sort of you don't grow anymore apart from that. And whenever someone new comes, whether it's once again right here or on the spaces, he just brings so many new points because he comes from different type of circle, different data points he looks at, and this is just so great, so beneficial to both parties usually, you know, if they can appreciate it. So I just love it, you know.
Well, I appreciate you guys for having me on today, man. It's yeah, I know there's so many sectors to crypto too. And then you guys are also both macro and like your intra markets, which is just like, I don't hear about that almost ever. So it's like, there's so much collective knowledge in all these spaces. So I appreciate you guys too. And the last thing I wanted to point out for the alpha was expect a DeSci category to get listed on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. And then the big four, I call them the big four, is Vita, RSC, Hair, and Gene. And RSC is Brian Armstrong's project. VitaDAO's is Vitalik Buterin's. And they partnered with these two. So as well, when you're in those groups, just understand, guys, these billionaires, they just like talking. So at these private events, the products that are going to partner together are just the billionaires that all talk to each other and all the scientists and Nobel Prize winners that are just talking to each other. And that's exactly what happened here. You know, there's more DeSci projects, but when you see a large one shouting out for, it can kind of give you an idea and perspective on where money will flow first when things start to roll out. So, cool. Yeah, that's really what I got for guys today. Thanks for having me on. I'm always excited to be here. I think these are really beneficial to the space. So
there is some more cool stuff, Josh, I want to show you, but we don't have time for that today. But if you come another time, there's really good stuff that I know you will enjoy. Just like you enjoy the commodity one, you will enjoy what I will
put me on another one and just send me in a rabbit hole.
Yes, I will.
I'm fine with it, man. Yeah, anytime you guys need me up, just let me know. I'm happy to hop up. I know. I think we'll be talking more with Discover Crypto too, and doing a lot more cross platform stuff, at least for the Twitter Spaces. But you know, even having you guys come on, do charts during our live streams and everything. You know, just call in for like 15 minutes, do a quick TA session or something would be huge. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. Always a pleasure. I'll see you guys soon.
Sure thing.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for coming.
All right, fellas. Well, you think we should wrap her up, Jackus?
Maybe we can entertain the 1 second chart for a little longer.
Well, I guess real quick.
Is Will here? Is Janet Yellen here?
Yeah, Janet's here, man. Somebody did ask about
awesome.
Asked about VeChain. I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing for it. You know, I think you could probably hang out down here a little bit longer, but you know, I would call this you know, another accumulation area for sure. It'll probably, I don't know if it'll do that again, but
yeah.
Do
you know what I call these, man? I call these the final accumulation before the escape and the list bump.
Yeah. I mean, it'll have some leg like that, I'm sure. I don't know if it'll go that high necessarily, but I remember this though. I was trading this back in here.
I made insane money on it.
Yeah. No, I wrote it from like a penny and a half up to here, back to here, and then I finally got out somewhere in here. I didn't sell the top though. I wrote it all the way back down, and then I sold this. But still, yeah, this was a nice. I loved VeChain last cycle, I will say. Gold is chatting. Dow Jones is chatting.
VeChain, Harmony One, all of them did really well last cycle.
Yeah, but this cycle, not so much.
S&P is chatting.
Yeah, it'll probably be different this cycle.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, is there something you want to show us? Share the screen, maybe?
As far as screen sharing, I've been having technical difficulties, so that's why I haven't had my camera on. But I mean, the stuff we talked about yesterday, I had Tucker we sat down and kind of put it together. But that S&P, BTC, ETH lineup I think looks really good. I'm
Mhm.
looking at some coins. Nakamoto Games, again, I keep getting faded on it, but it's, it's a really strong one, man. It's a really, really, really strong looking one. The momentum's really good there. I think a lot of people are just like they're not ready to hear it, which is okay.
Christ.
Bruv.
Bro.
Gold is legit not even 1% from new all-time high.
Oh, we're in that zone. Fourth tap.
There is no first step. There is
No,
only
fourth,
rate.
fourth does that. That's what the
Yeah,
fourth tap does, man. Yeah, that's what the
The-
fourth tap does.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus. Copper pumping, silver pumping. They have no idea what's coming in this decade, man. So many people will be so surprised.
Yeah.
And then the engagement horse comes in. They steal the show once again.
They will.
Get
100% they will.
They will tell people to buy the tops on all of these once again, and the cycles repeat.
I think this is what we had too. We had this. This is probably what gold does. Except gold's doing it on like the daily and weekly. Bitcoin's doing it on H4.
Yeah.
4 taps. See ya. Yeah. Yep. All right, boys. Should we save some or do you want to keep cooking?
I mean, we can call it here if you want. No matter
Depends on the people. Do you guys want us to keep cooking or should we wrap it up here? We can go on for a little longer, just a little
longer.
Yeah.
When's ETH gonna do it, man?
Man, ETH is getting so ready for it. I still want that ETH BTC sweep of that low sitting at 5,330 satoshis. On like if you gotta go on an H4, right?
Yeah.
Or something. So I want that low sweep.
This one?
Like no, the one above.
This one?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, give me that sweep and then send it higher.
Yeah, lower high. One of those. There.
I could actually see ETHUSD maybe sweeping the current low it made today, then front running the support at like 2050, and then finally breaking higher.
What you think?
Just
sweeping that or sweeping this?
Yeah. No, the one you had. Yeah, sweeping this. Exactly. Like.
Yeah.
But front running the support just like BTC front run the support, right? On this H1.
Yeah. What, this 2050?
Yeah, but yeah, basically that, like front run that one. Just sweep the low and send it higher.
Just yeah.
Jack is to cook as a steak. I'm cooking on baby Discord every day, champ.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Yep.
Here it comes with the likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the likes are met, I can cook you some alpha. And boy, I got an alpha this time. You really want to see it. But it comes with a price. It's actually cheap price. It just costs few clicks of a button, actually just one, right? You just click the like button and that's it. It's very cheap, very cheap. But yeah, I'm not sharing that alpha for free, guys. So like
no,
we
never.
need, yeah, like if you want all those bullish bearish hopiums that get thousands of likes and retweets, then go for them, right? I can give you some fucking random fractal pointing towards 150k, but if you want real actionable alpha that is gonna make you fucking money and wealth, then you guys need to give something back too. That's how it works.
Yeah, I'm working on a I'm working on a shitcoin rotation right now that's quite juicy, but that's not for YouTube, man. I can't do it on YouTube. I can't. I'm serious. I can't do it.
Can be done.
No.
TIA looks for new highs too.
Is it looking good?
Man, every time I say TIA, it's like CIA, man.
No. Yeah. 7:30 it peaked.
Matic made new H4 highs.
I know. I was looking at Matic earlier. Where's what was I looking at? Yeah.
This one really needs to get sent to like it needs to get sent actually above the February high. I think in the next few months it should go to like
what, $1.60?
Yeah, it needs to go above there. And then not actually sure. I'm not seeing like there isn't anything really anything playable until like $2.7, man. So like there is no clean level. There's only liquidity levels at like there's definitely one sitting at 175, next one at 2.07, but there is no real resistance apart from like 2.5, 2.7. That's where the resistance is on Matic.
I like those. Those are juicy.
Yeah, data is asking about Ethereum Classic, so I think of the same basically. These alt. Well, like I actually think that like actually let me pull up the chart because charts beat volumes. I actually think that Ether Classic will have some run again, but it's not gonna be something majestic, right? Like there are definitely better coins to look at, in my opinion, in that regard.
Yeah.
Like it will pop off again. Okay, whenever ETH is going to run, Ethereum Classic will run too. Okay, but the upside is limited, and I think if you wanna outperform Ethereum, why not just go with Lido Finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is my take basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it looks terrible, but what's the opportunity cost of tying up capital in something like that? Could do this for a lot longer. You could just be sitting here for a while.
Well, Chem wants me to look at Casper. Is it CSPR USD? Yeah, looks like bottom accumulation too, but I don't see the rotation coming in yet. It does look like bottom accumulation, but it's sitting on a uptrend, which I don't like, but it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know, doesn't look special to me. But
Yeah. I don't know. I think you're probably better off playing strong coins on dips at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
Like Sol and Celestia and even ETH.
Man, I really want to buy, like, my main play is still this, right? ride this wave of market strength right now, then sell before the big pullback. Sell before the big pullback. Ideally, maybe build some shorts. I want to do that too. And then buy into stuff like Celestia for the next cycle around $3. Man, please give me that. Buy Peppa.
I think we get here before 3.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then like give me Celestia. Like, okay, I'll get in, at 4. Anything below 4, I'll look to scale in. Peppa, give me like what is I don't know how to pronounce it, but like 70,000 microcents, something like that.
Yeah.
Give me those. Kuji, I would love to buy back into Kuji at $2.
Yeah, I've never even played it.
Caspa, I mean, I've made great profits on this Caspa run lately. It's been mainly shared in the BB Discord. So we bought just a day before the big bump from the ascending triangle to the upside.
Right here, man.
Yeah, right there. And because I was waiting for that. Actually, I could have got in a little bit earlier on that flip because I was essentially bearish, right, on the chart. But then it made that flip for me. That showed me that the market. That's why I say always you need to respect the market structure. You always need to respect the market structure. And when it showed that it wants bullish continuation, that was on the dip, on the bigger dip, to like 40,000 or something, and or like 0.04 cents in October. I could have already gotten there, and then it started to go up and started pressuring, building that base just before the breakout. Something that Ethereum is doing right now, and people are ignorant to that. So I bought there, I sold, then I rebought slightly higher at that dip to like 0.08. I mean, we legit bought that bottom. Tucker can confirm.
Oh yeah, no, that's real, dude. It looks pretty good right now, honestly. I think it might just God candle these stops.
God candle stops.
I mean, all these stops, they might just bang wipe. These lows have been protected. I mean, I think we eventually, you probably wipe these guys and then you come back in here somewhere, but
yeah,
because this is a big fair value gap in here. I think it's a 12-hour, maybe 3-day. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they leave it. Who knows?
what's the ranking for Caspa in the coin market cap right now?
It's a good question.
I think it's like 20s
27.
27, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should definitely move into the top 10, so definitely room for growth still.
Yeah, it'll be top 10 at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, guys. I got to go get some lunch, man. We've been cooking for like 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It's that time, unless you want to just continue on your own, Jackus.
No, I don't think I even can because I do not know how to close the session after. So.
Yeah.
So
all right, well, I'll give the sub and Discord shill and we'll pop off. So
what likes we ended up on before we wrap it up?
I have no idea. Hang on, let me look it up.
I think the guys mentioned something like 60, which is nice. It is nice, but it's not worth the alpha, guys. Okay.
$62.
All right.
62. Right. Respectable.
We brought you Josh today, right?
We did. We did indeed.
Some new info.
So I'm gonna put something on the bottom. There's a few things. All right. So guys, you still have time. You can like and sub. It's not the end of the world. You still have time. But also, here's the Discord code down at the bottom for a free month. We've been slaughtering it. All the alpha, nothing held back. I'm telling you guys, it's worth it. If a member doesn't pay for their membership within like a week or two, then we failed. And I don't think anybody hasn't done that, right? So that's the goal. But anyways, there's a code for a free month down there. There's also the Black Friday code. That might be done on Sunday. I'm not sure if it's even still active, but B Friday 30 gets you 30% off for a year. Again, I said this yesterday. I don't even know why we're doing that. I need to talk to Max about that. That's too much. That's simply too much. But yeah, those two codes will get you discounts for the Discord. We're in there all day, every day. GigaChat calls twice per day before the New York Open and right before the New York close. Those are recorded if you can't make them, but all our active positions, how we're navigating the market, all that, myself, Jack, Will, Wabi, Max, Tommy, the whole team is in there pretty much all day, every day. So check that out for sure if you enjoy the content. But that is it for us today, boys. Had Joshua Jake on. That was a good time. Haven't had him on YouTube before. So we'll try to get him back on here because you're absolutely right, Jack, because he does bring a good, fresh perspective and more of that FA that we don't really talk about on our TA show, right? So it's good to have him on, but that is it for us today, boys. We will catch you on Twitter at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time today for our daily space with King Wabi. So that's it for us today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. You can go hit the like still if you want. If not, I won't be upset, but it would be nice. But anyways, that's it. We will see you guys later and have a great rest of your day.